Hey guys, you may have seen my earlier video on the top 5 most frequently asked questions about prenuptial agreements in Singapore. In this second video, I will discuss another 5 more. Question number 1. Can a prenuptial agreement be changed after marriage? The answer is yes. Prenuptial agreements can be modified or updated after the marriage. This is typically done through a postnuptial agreement, which follows the same principles as a prenuptial agreement, but is executed after the couple has married. Both parties must agree to the changes, and it is advisable to seek legal advice when amending the terms. Another alternative would be to do a deed of amendment or supplemental agreement to amend the original prenuptial agreement to delete old clauses and to insert new clauses in. Question number 2. Can one spouse challenge a prenuptial agreement in court? Yes, a prenuptial agreement can be challenged in court, especially if it was signed under duress, misrepresentation, or if one spouse was under a mistake at the time of signing. For example, she did not understand English and it was wrongly translated to her. The court can also disregard certain provisions if it finds that the provisions are unfair, unreasonable, unconscionable, or not in line with the best interest of the children. FAQ number 3. Do I need a lawyer to draft a prenuptial agreement? The answer is yes. It is highly recommended that both parties seek independent legal advice and have their prenuptial agreement drafted by qualified family lawyers familiar with family law and the Women's Charter of Singapore. This ensures that the agreement is legally sound and that both parties fully understand their implications. The court is more likely to respect an agreement that was drafted with proper legal advice and without any undue pressure. Question number 4. Will the court always uphold a prenuptial agreement in Singapore? Not necessarily. While the Singapore courts will take the prenuptial agreement into account under Section 112, subsection 2 of the Women's Charter, the courts will ultimately decide on asset division, maintenance, and other issues based on fairness and the specific circumstances of the case. The agreement will hold more weight if it was entered into fairly with full disclosure and independent legal advice, but it is not absolute. Question number 5. What happens if there is no prenuptial agreement? If there is no prenuptial agreement, the division of assets and liabilities upon divorce will be determined by the courts in accordance with Singapore law, particularly the Women's Charter. The court will consider factors such as the contributions of both parties to the marriage, both financial and non-financial, as well as the welfare of any children involved. So that's a wrap on the top 10 most frequently asked questions about prenuptial agreements in Singapore. While a prenup can provide clarity and peace of mind, it is important to approach it with careful consideration and professional guidance. If you are thinking of entering into one, always consult with a lawyer to ensure your rights and interests are well protected. That's all for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.